Welcome to my basement, everybody, but mostly you, Scott Jones. Hello.
Oh, Victor Lucas, thanks for always making room for me.
You're my favorite.
On your stained couch.
Well, and you're the one that smells the most like cheese, and so you blend right in.
Come on, I smell pretty good for a man.
Not in the summer.
I do, actually. I shower quite often.
I hang out with you a lot.
I shower a lot.
Okay.
Have you ever smelled me, like, smelling really bad?
No, I'm just joking.
We both smell pretty good. We spend a lot of time together within, like, a 3-foot radius of each other.
Are you saying that you smell me?
I smell you, but mostly you smell pretty good. Like, you smell like Ben Silverman once said after he spent the week with you at the Judges Week, he said you smelled every day like fresh laundry.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Isn't that nice?
That's
Doesn't that make you feel good?
Yeah.
I noticed you got a haircut.
I did, yes.
How'd that go?
It was great.
Yeah, it looks great.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, very nice job. Whatever you paid that woman, you didn't pay her enough.
I paid her a lot.
Okay. So let's talk about the biggest story in our industry right now.
One of the biggest stories I've ever seen.
Are you shocked?
I was shocked.
I'm shocked.
And it's an industry thing. And I think the reason why... Well, there's a couple things. It happened on Canada Day, and this is also Independence Day week. So
we do the show in Canada, even though this is a global enterprise.
There's a lot of holidays happening right now. So the repercussions, I don't think, were really that broadly reported. And we actually don't know what the repercussions are. But this was probably the most dramatic happening I've seen in the video game history in my almost 20 years of covering it.
Dramattrick?
Dramattrick, yes. This was Don Mattrick deciding that he'd had enough at Microsoft, and he took the CEO position at Zynga. And, there's a tremendous amount of business speculation happening right now, and the terms of his deal have been released. Ray Muzica, the former president of BioWare, was tweeting about that yesterday. He's making a buttload of dough. I mean, he's getting a $5 million signing bonus. He's getting a minimum of $1 million a year.
Good for him.
Plus bonuses every year. I mean, he's going to come out making
more money, though.
Dozens of millions of dollars. And he's already a very wealthy man, and he's done a tremendous amount of good things for the video game industry. I don't think that this was a decision about money. And so, this is just going to lead to more speculation here, but I have never seen in my years of reporting on games an executive leave less than a month after the E3 reveal and the games portfolio is announced for a console that's just about to launch.
This kind of happened with Peter Moore, too, didn't it? He left at a very crucial moment in Microsoft history and jumped over to EA, and it was all very shocking. My question to you is, and I know we never get the full story on these things, my question is, are these deals in the works for weeks, for months, and then suddenly, it does seem like strange timing? Or do they happen really quickly? Is this a 48-hour thing where they just call him and they say, listen, Zynga's in trouble, you're the man?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me talk about the Peter Moore thing. Peter Moore absolutely did bounce. He bounced from Sega to Microsoft to EA. I think that's the order.
Were all those tattoos real?
The Halo tattoo is absolutely real. He still has it on his arm. He's an amazing guy. I mean, that is a guy that is poised to be a CEO. But the difference here is that Mattrick is the president, and he was the president of the interactive entertainment business at Microsoft.
He's was the face. He takes the stage,
and he was the leader, and he was the guy that brought the world to Connect, raised the profile of Xbox Live. I mean, he got a glowing letter on his way out from Steve Ballmer. All of that stuff is warranted. All of the things that Mattrick has done are all of the acclaim around all of that stuff is warranted. Peter Moore making those decisions, at a very high level, a very high executive level, but not quite the top person on the totem pole is a different thing. This I've never seen before. This is a dramatic statement. And I don't know if and I haven't talked to Don about this stuff. I'd love to get him on the show. Maybe he'd even consider doing the podcast with us. It'd be amazing. But
you think we'll have to clean? Your mom will have to come down.
That's true. We'll need an antiseptic team in here.
Yeah.
We'll need people in rubber from head to toe.
We'll need those suits that Heisenberg and Jesse wear
and
when
we'll
they do
have
a
to wear
cook.
suits in the basement.
We will, though. Like Don's
weird. We
always
will wear
welcome.
suits. Don Mattrick, if you come into the basement,
Yes.
we will wear suits with you. We can all wear suits. We'll eat cheese.
It'll be a very dramatic
We'll put
episode.
away all of the porn magazines. There will be none.
So Francis, this guy who runs his own show on the internet, he called this move. It's like hiring the pilot from the Hindenburg to captain the Titanic.
Oh, come on.
I love Francis. He's hilarious.
Well, this is the thing, right? This is a crazy period in games, and it's no secret that Zynga's been in a lot of trouble. And it's no secret that Microsoft has created a lot of problems for itself. They
took a lot of heat there.
Absolutely.
Right in the wake of E3. Don especially personally took the brunt of it on his shoulders.
Well, he was the guy that was leading the charge on a lot of the decisions. He was coming out with an aggressive statement about how games were meant to be enjoyed for the future. And he had to pull back on that. And I don't know if Microsoft put him into a very uncomfortable position and basically made him, take a bullet for the company in that scenario. But it's not hard to imagine that that's kind of how it felt for him. But I know that Zynga has been needing help of somebody with the experience and the executive caliber of Don Mattrick for a long time. I also know that Bing Gordon is over at Zynga, and Bing and Don have a long relationship as well. And there are other, EA ties and Mattrick ties. The thing that's really interesting about all of this stuff is that a lot of these guys, these Silicon Valley game executives, and that ranges all the way from Vancouver into Seattle, down to San Francisco and Los Angeles. There are a lot of them are friends. Like I saw John Riccitiello when I was at the Lucas and Spielberg and Mattrick thing. I saw John Riccitiello there. Danny Bilson was there. They've worked together. They've created huge businesses together. They understand how the strengths and weaknesses of everybody's leadership. And I'm sure that Mark Pincus over at Zynga has been paying close attention, and he's been trying to court Don Mattrick to the company for a long time. And then maybe the backlash against Don's, and again, I'm speculating, but maybe the backlash about his plans for Microsoft really made his decision easier. Maybe he just said, okay, people aren't ready for this stuff right now, and so I have to reverse course. But screw it, I'm going to go take this really big challenge over at this company.
It's a huge challenge, and all of these guys, just like you and myself, have huge egos. And they're ready. Like, I'm sure Don is ready to roll up his sleeves, and he's convinced that if anybody can bring Zynga back from the brink, it is going to be him.
I'm convinced. Mattrick gets a lot of hate and a lot of heat, and he
aggressive. He helped build Microsoft and the Xbox into a bona fide brand.
Dude,
it really wasn't in the beginning.
He started this in his basement. Like EA Canada is the example company for how you create a studio model in the video game business, and it was copied and emulated all over the world, and it was based on a lot of his leadership and his ambition and his drive and his ability to get a lot of people working with him. And I'm sure he had to piss people off along the way. I'm sure he made mistakes that he would admit to, but Jesus Christ, the guy has given the world of video games a tremendous amount.
Oh, come on. Yeah, nobody can say anything bad about Don Mattrick.
And it started like really innocently and purely, just as its fascination to build video games out of his basement, and he's done a little bit of everything along the way.
The thing is, he's a human being. He's taken steps forward and steps back. He's done some good things. He's done some bad things, depending on your point of view.
Yeah.
But that's everybody. That's called living a life, you know?
But this announcement, though, I was rocked. This was like...
what did you do? Did you just go downstairs into your basement?
Well, it makes you think. It makes you think, like, what is this video game industry that we're going into? What is this next phase? Is Zynga now going to be an Xbox partner? Is this going to be a massive free-to-play console company?
Well, who what I keep thinking about is LeBron James.
Right.
And I keep thinking about... Who's the guy on the San Antonio Spurs?
Don.
No, the big star.
Yeah, no, Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. I keep thinking about him, who's really been in this sort of off-market team for a long time, but he's been faithful to this. He doesn't move around. And a lot of these guys get itchy and antsy, and they build a little bit of something and then they move on and then they leave it behind. And all because of ego. I think a lot of times it's all driven by ego. Again, this is a lot of what we're talking about here is pure. It's in the abstract. It's all speculation. But the one thing that we do know is that you've spent time with Don. You've interviewed him a couple times. I know he's a personal friend along with James Cameron and
I know all these guys.
Some
are
of
all
your
good
other
friends.
friends.
Sometimes we eat dinner together.
We talked about you smelling like fresh laundry. What does Don smell like in person?
He smells like success.
He smells like success.
No, he's a very clean man. He wears great suits and always looks really sharp and poised. And I got to tell you though, man, like
he always looks a little unkempt. He always looks like he looks like he's dressed well. He's wearing expensive clothes, but he looks like he just slept in the back of a van.
Hardly.
He does. He's always a little ragtag. His shirt's a little untucked.
He's buttoned down, man. The guy is the perfect example of how to wear a suit and just chill and relax and own it. And not let the suit own him.
This is what I will say. I remember Phil Harrison, who was a big part of Sony. He was the face of Sony for a long time.
Yeah.
And he went to Atari.
Yeah.
He was going to bring that shit back.
I know. It's hard not to think about that, isn't it? I know.
And it didn't happen. Everybody makes moves, and sometimes those moves are good, and sometimes they're bad. We'll see what happens here. I was thinking about you on Monday, on your Canada Day. You're spending it with your family, and this news comes across the wire.
It was a shocker, man. I mean, it made me sit down, and it made me kind of think about this new industry that we are building, and we are covering in our programming because I don't have any positive thoughts about Zynga. I've never really thought, oh my God, I love this company.
I've never played Farmville, really.
I liked. We played it. I played it for a little bit because I liked Harvest Moon, and it really pissed me off that it was ripping off stuff from Harvest Moon and making it crack for.
I forgot you're a
people
closeted Harvest Moon.
Harvest
fan.
Moon's a great game. They've just remade that too many times. But I liked Draw Something until they bought it. And
Draw Something was fun. Everybody played it for about 3 weeks.
Yeah, and Words with Friends I think was fun. I think pre-Zynga as well. So I've always had an issue with the way that it's kind of just borrowed other people's ideas.
It's been very cannibalistic, right? Like we'll do it a little bit better, and we'll sweep up all the money.
And just this out of nowhere, suddenly it's evaluated as being double the value of EA or Activision. I just thought that was, these are 30-year-old companies that have done everything for the video game industry. Zynga starts up and it's 1 or 2 years old.
Look at us. We'll show you how it's done.
Yeah, and it kind of made me barf.
What kind of name is Zynga anyway?
We're in the post-Google era, the post-Google Yahoo era. You got to come up with...
First order of business from the dramattrick era over at Zynga. Change the name.
No, the Zynga name. Well, you know what? That might happen.
Hey, listen.
So I don't know, but if anybody's going to change my opinion about Zynga, it's going to be him.
All right, we'll see what happens.
So I think that was a very smart move.
Let's leave behind the business portion of today's program and talk about something that nobody wants to talk about.
Okay.
And that is the Lone Ranger. Armie Hammer, Johnny Depp, Gore Verbinski, Bill Fichtner wearing some sort of lip prosthetic, holding his lip open with his one fake tooth. I'm doing it here. I don't know if you can hear me.
What a terrific actor William Fichtner is, man. I love watching that guy.
I love him too. All of these people deserved a better movie. Now go ahead and do your Lone Ranger rant.
Well, they turned the Lone Ranger into a bumbling idiot, and he doesn't have
his teeth out.
What's that?
They removed his teeth.
Yeah, he's just he's a doofus at the beginning of the thing. He's Dudley Do-Right, and he's Dudley Do-Right at the end. There's no growth.
Dudley Do-Right, that's good.
There's no progression. He just wants to do well, and it's like, golly gee, ma'am, let me save you, ma'am. And Tonto is telling him exactly what to do, but he doesn't know what's going on because he's in this weird, crazy, everything's a goofball pantomime type thing with some funky makeup on. And so you watch it for 2.5 hours and there's no growth. There's no investment in these characters as believable heroes of any kind. They're not really bringing justice. They're bumbling through justice. Somehow they accidentally bring justice to the Wild West and bring these crooked, trained moguls down. I mean, it was really offensive to a fan. You know, I love The Lone Ranger. I love that this was getting made, and I actually love the look and the feel and the style of this movie. I think the cast actually was ready to do this thing, but I think the fault is purely on the idea to turn this into a farce. I mean, it's like Adam West Batman bullshit. I mean, it's just not good, and it really reminds me of. And I get more angry thinking about it because when you're watching it, there's enough little entertaining bits and it's just so well crafted. I mean, so many people work their asses off to build something really good looking, and it does look great. And there's really interesting kinetic action sequences. But the more you think about it, the more offensive and meaningless and pointless and, just a waste it becomes.
It's like the giant whirlpool from the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yes.
Just for 2.5 hours, just watching it circle. It's like a flushed toilet.
I like this better than the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean. I like this better than the third one as well.
Oh, Jesus.
But it's not as good as the second or the first one. And like, Gore Verbinski should hire some editors, just maybe like pass this by his work past a few more people so that they can cut it down a little bit. All of his recent movies look like they needed an hour cut out of them. He's so in love with these massive setup shots and these, and they're echoes of each other all the way through. He's got this symmetry that happens, this visual symmetry. And so he's got pirate ships going after pirate ships after pirate ships and traveling forever and just, throwing up these grandiose backgrounds and environments in the Pirates flicks. And in The Lone Ranger, it's all trains, and it just becomes fatiguing. I mean, you're just like, okay, I get it. You had money on this. You convinced Disney to throw tons of money at this thing.
I read some interesting stuff from a writer named Wesley Morris on Grantland. He had a review of the movie. The title of the review was "How the West Was Dumb."
Yeah.
And he in particular, he draws some parallels to 1999's The Mummy. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, that was fun.
What's called for is the kind of cheap fun of something like 1999's The Mummy. The movie knew it was stupid, but it believed in that stupidity. It had the comical professionalism of 1950s crap. It also had Brendan Fraser doing upside-down heroism. Armie Hammer has Fraser's willingness to make a fool of himself, but Hammer is the more severely beautiful of the two. You feel like his Lone Ranger is making silly faces and doing goofy slapstick as contrition for Hammer's looking as good as he does, but there's nothing to the part he's playing.
Yeah. So if you're Hammer's playing he's trying to play catch up with Johnny Depp. He's trying to be as funny and on point with Johnny. And Johnny Depp is leading.
He's playing and we don't have to spend too much time belaboring this terrible movie. Just don't go see it.
Yeah.
But he's okay in his straight man role. He's okay to let Depp do his walk away with the movie moment.
We've seen Depp do this before, so that's tiresome.
Yeah.
And Depp's not that funny in this movie either, because maybe this is old hat for him. We've seen him play this doofus that, he's Jack Sparrow again with a crow on his head. That's really what he is, a different accent. He's Jack Sparrow. He's got an athleticism about him and a graceful, slapsticky kind of bumble his way through scenes kind of ability about him. And then that forces Armie Hammer to turn his Lone Ranger into this idiot.
Totally. Well, he also this is another interesting point from Wesley Morris's review. The first Pirates franchise transformed Depp from a very good actor into a man with an astronomical asking price, and in the decades since, his trashed approach to stardom has gradually turned into shtick, just as it has for Robert Downey. The difference is that Downey's is fun, and Depp's is a parody of fun.
Well, I think it's too soon to call that out, and I know there's a whole chorus out there that wants to throw Depp under the bus, but he is an exceptional actor, and he has unbelievable ability, and even in his worst moments, he's better than a lot of actors in their best. And Tonto is not his best work, but it's definitely not bad, and it was his choice, and I think, because he is the center point and they staged the whole thing around him, I think it kind of sabotaged the end value of this movie. But Depp as an actor, I'd go see that guy in anything. That guy he's still great. He's fun to watch. He has interesting choices. Just it's too bad that so many of them.
How about this for the rest of Johnny Depp's career?
No makeup.
No more movies with Tim Burton, and no more movies with Gore Verbinski.
Well, I think it's just no more makeup. I just think it's no more cartoon characters. Like he's done enough of that. Even Ed Wood to some degree. But holy Christ, I mean, what an interesting... I think he's a gift to cinema, man. Like, I think...
All right,
I really
Christ.
do.
He's just a man who's doing a job. He's not a gift to cinema.
He's a gift to cinema.
You're making me angry down here.
If you look at the span of his career and the choices he has made, he could have just gone and been, pouty heartthrob guy, and we wouldn't have cared for him for 5 years, But now he's 50 years old, and he's done 30 or 40... movies, and I'd say probably half of them are really interesting because of him.
All right.
Gift to cinema.
No, we are done with that. Nope.
Trademark.
Nope.
Yes.
That is one of the stupidest things you are going to say on today's podcast.
Really? You don't think he's a gift to cinema?
No, I do not think he's a gift to cinema.
I mean, part of his problem is that he's in this blockbuster era where
we'll see what he does for the next 30 years, then we'll start handing out the gift label,
he's 50.
Okay?
All right, he's had a good career.
So he's got a long way to go.
30 years of good stuff.
But let's not just throw around the gift to cinema.
Not his best work.
All right. Well, listen, then other shocking news, Liam Neeson is getting $20 million for Taken 3.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
Not a gift to cinema.
Not a gift to
no.
What
the
about
opposite of a gift to cinema.
What about The Gray?
That is the gift to cynicism is what that is.
My God, these movies, why do they make so much money?
The last movie was just so patently offensive and
the worst.
Like anybody from Turkey must have just felt completely horrified. Anybody that's traveled in the world... Anyone, any human being,
even if you're in the United States and you've crossed over into Canada,
even if you haven't seen the movie, you should be horrified by Taken 2 because it's an awful trash heap of a dung pool garbage film.
$20 million.
We
need to get jobs where we get paid $20 million to do something. Maybe we should make sex tapes.
How do you think Liam Neeson feels about taking $20 million for Taken 3?
I mean, you know what? You can watch him sleepwalk his way through those movies.
I know.
He's a good actor. He's not a gift to cinema, but he is a damn good actor.
He's a great actor, yeah.
And
just the fact that he was in that stupid Battleship movie.
But he goes through these roles, and you can feel him. He does his payday kind of movies every now and then, and that's fine. But Jesus Christ, why do people show up in droves for these fucking movies? These are some of the worst things I've ever seen.
People want revenge thrillers, man. They always will. People, I think they need that. I think
people
there's the same sense of connection to the Call of Duty franchises and other types of big shooters out there. There's a cathartic escapism when the stress levels are high at work.
But
you want to go and watch a badass take care of some bad guys.
There's so much great stuff out there to consume. We have only a few years. Life is ephemeral. It doesn't last forever. We don't have time in our lives to see Taken 3.
Well, I think you gain that perspective with the more you consume and the older you get. And frankly, the viewing demos on a movie like that are going to skew you young. Everybody wants a dad like Liam Neeson who's going to come out and bust people's arms and shoot people in the face.
You don't even believe for 1 second that he has a connection with the woman who plays his daughter in the movie.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. It's garbage. And even if you're 16 years old and you're going to the movie for the first time, you should see that. You should see that that's not good movie making. And there's so much better entertainment available to you.
Well, speaking of better entertainment, we have a screening coming up next Wednesday of what could be.
I think it's the movie of the summer.
Of the decade.
Might be the movie
Could be a gift to 2013.
Could be the gift to
cinema.
cinema.
Could be a gift to our eyes
but only,
on Wednesday night.
If only Johnny Depp was in it.
We are going to see Pacific Rim, which apparently features some actual actors in addition to the giant robots and giant monsters.
We met one of them.
What is the story behind this movie? Giant monsters come out of the sea.
Yeah.
And then human beings invent giant robots to fight the giant monsters.
And
is that it? Am I on the right track?
What else do we need?
Holy shit, I can't believe this is really a movie. And I'm going to go see it.
I read a quote from the screenwriter that said, making this movie was like what you would imagine making movies was like when you were 12 years old. And it was exactly that. They dreamt up things and did them. And we're going to see a robot punch the crap out of a giant monster with a
squash
ship.
Its head.
I cannot wait for
gonna
this
squash
movie.
one of the monsters'
I'm
fucking
worked-
head.
and
I saw it on
because
EP today.
The buzz is happening right now. The buzz is like people are starting to see it, and they're starting to see it.
I'm gonna make
and
this,
talk about it.
I'm just warning you right now. If you're gonna sit next to me, and we sit together when we go to the movies.
Yeah. I make sounds if I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
make this sound a lot.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
And you're gonna hear that a lot next week.
I might go woo and.
I am so excited. I never get that excited for anything. I certainly wasn't that excited for the Lone Ranger, but Pacific Rim, I'm telling you, I'm so unbelievably excited. I never get this excited. I'm going to get the biggest, whatever popcorn they have. We're going to see it at the IMAX.
Oh, yeah.
However
Are
big
we seeing it
they
at
have.
the IMAX?
Yeah.
We never get to do that.
We're
for
going
the
to
screenings.
Riverport. I don't even know where the fuck
That's
Riverport
awesome.
is. We got to get
Awesome.
someone to drive us because neither of us, I don't have a car and you don't
I think
drive.
that's in Oregon.
We got to go all the way to Oregon, but that's worth it.
Okay.
Pacific Rim, we're going to see that. The review will be on, I think it'll be on EP Daily and Reviews on the Run on the Friday, when the movie debuts.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to the movie.
Yeah.
And this is a little behind the scenes talk just for the two of us, but
Yeah.
we'll shoot the review right afterwards in the dark outside the cinema.
Awesome.
And we've never shot outside Riverport before.
Yeah.
I think there's gang activity over there.
I hope there are no vampires.
So I don't know if you know this, but there's been some more DLC for one of your favorite games of the year, Injustice.
Yeah.
Gods Among Us. We've
know.
got the General Zod.
I know.
Did you pick that up? $4.99.
I haven't gone back to it yet because we've got a big chunk of games that we're playing right now. A couple on the PC, which I'm excited that we're actually getting.
You can
our
tell
hands
what
on.
we're
Well,
playing.
We're doing Gunpoint, which I've been playing anyways. But we actually get to play it a little bit more and then talk about it on the show. And Company of Heroes 2. And I got to tell you, Relic, I think they make my favorite RTS games. I love them. And I'm not reviewing Company of Heroes 2 yet, but I just love the chaos that they're able to create and also the intimacy that you feel with the units that you get to control.
Those guys are masters
They're
over there.
incredible.
You know what? I went over there personally, did a couple stories for EP Daily. Did you watch that show?
EP Daily?
EP, E like Edward, P like Peter.
Okay.
And then the word daily.
All right, I'm going to set
Google it.
I'm going to set my PVR.
Set your PVR. Yeah, it's a daily show, thus the name Daily in the
Okay.
EP Daily.
Wow.
I went over to the studio, Relic, which is based here in Vancouver. I interviewed a lot of the team members,
Yeah.
all very articulate
Quinn Duffy.
young men. Quinn Duffy.
Best name in video games.
I said to Quinn, I said, you know what's going to happen? This is my prediction. This generation of consoles is going to bomb, and we're all going to go back to the PC. That's what gamers are going to do. And
Right.
I think ever since he's been in love with me.
That's a horrible prediction, by the way.
No, it's for them. It's awesome because that's what they specialize in.
Yeah.
They were happy to hear that. You know, they make these very sophisticated, very cerebral, very high-end, high-tech.
Yeah.
What are they called? Real-time strategy games.
Yeah, these are difficult to play on a big TV type situation, though. You know, and people still want to hook up to their TVs and escape. And you know, I do that with my PC, and there's tons of games that feel terrific and port beautifully to that. This is not one of those. This is a lean in, look at the details, get lost in the cacophony, and
You know what? I think we should start taking some stuff away from the steamers. I actually have set up my PC finally.
Yeah.
I'm on the PC.
All right.
I'm ready to go PC.
We're coming for you, steamers.
That's right. And you know the other game we want to go back to.
All we got to do is some second opinions on some of this Steam stuff because the
SimCity we got to go back to.
I know
remember?
PC games are awesome, and we haven't been playing enough of them. And I dual booted my MacBook Pro, so when I've been traveling the last little while, I have been playing. I've been playing Metro Last Light and loving that. And it's awesome. It's like you bring this robust console with you wherever you go, you know? It's incredible. And the Steam portability or the Origin portability is incredible. I bought Sleeping Dogs for $5 on Origin.
You already own it though.
Yeah, but I got a better, higher resolution version of it for the PC.
All right, I'm glad you got that.
$5.
Listen, you can also for 99 cents pick up the Man of Steel skin.
Right.
For Superman. Are you going to do that?
Absolutely.
You're going to get that?
Absolutely. I'm waiting for...
I think it's the Man of Steel foreskin is the way it's
No,
worded
they're not
here.
selling the foreskin.
Foreskin, I think. That's what it says on my notes
You can
here.
get that at the superhero sex shop that you travel to.
Okay.
No, but I am waiting for Injustice to have some kind of get it all price, you know, because there's little bits and pieces of things.
They're really nickel and diming you there.
Yeah, and I don't want everything, you know, like I want Batgirl and I want Lobo.
Okay, keep going.
And I want Zod.
Okay.
But then they're releasing other things too, and I don't know what the next characters are going to be.
Is it
so
Michael
I feel like
Shannon
I don't want to
Zod?
jump the gun. What's that?
Is it Michael? Does it look
No,
like Michael Shannon?
it's the comic book Zod.
Okay.
I want them to do a Shannon skin. That would be awesome. I
With
guess
the
they
Man
have
of
to go.
Steel skin, does it look like Brandon Ruth?
No.
I mean,
Brandon
Henry,
Ruth,
Henry Cavill.
you're 2 movies behind. No, it doesn't look like Cavill. It's the same Superman model that they have in the game. God, you're making me want to rush home now.
I know. Calm down. We still have to finish this.
Actually, I am home.
Okay.
You're making me want to rush over.
You want me to rush the 3 feet over to the console?
I'm going to start playing this game right now.
So listen, I moved recently.
I know.
To a new place.
I know. You've got a new gaming nook.
I just set up my new game. It's actually
where did you put the cheese?
My cheese.
Have you put the stinky things already in place, or
anybody who's a cheese expert
and you guys know why we do that, right? We want to make it smelly and like get it pre-stink, so that when you come home, it's hot. Yeah. You take your shoes off.
Well, you want your cheese at room temperature.
Yeah, you want the smell, so you never have to clean up.
It's supposed to be consumed at room temperature. So I got my new gaming area all set up. You know, I actually. One of my cats has been sick. He's been rubbing. He had diarrhea.
Right.
So I had to wipe his butt.
Well, there you go.
With a warm. I would go and I'd get a washcloth and I would warm it up a little and then I'd chase him around the house and he didn't like it, so he would run. So it was kind of like some Japanese game show. Me chasing my cat with shit on his ass
and
with
he
a
would
washcloth.
Just be diarrheaing all over
and me just screaming.
Apartment.
Yeah, there's diarrhea everywhere. Cat shit everywhere.
Well, you got the smell. That's taken care of, and B. Hello, ladies.
So, yeah, if anyone wants to know who smells like cat shit in here, it's probably me. Now, you smell like fresh laundry. Don Mattrick smells like success. I smell like cat shit. Now, when I move, and I've gone through this before, you start unplugging all your consoles and everything in your TV, and it's a moment of sadness. You're like, but what if I want to play?
I know.
And everything's boxed up. And so the thing that I did, and I always do this, I power up, make sure I charge up the PSP Vita, charge up the 3DS, get my iPad going, because I got Kingdom Rush Frontiers on there that I'm playing the shit out of. I can't stop playing that fucking game.
Yeah.
And so I get all these things together, and then I get busy with the move. I don't ever use any of them, but I need them as like an insurance policy.
You sit in bed and you start playing, and then a second later, your Vita falls on your nose and you're asleep.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I know.
Do you game yourself to sleep every night?
I do often, yeah. It's weird.
So your eyes start to droop when you're looking at the Vita?
My eyes start to get a little bit bugged out, actually. Yeah. The iPad so close to my head as I'm reading or playing games at night is really super sensitive on my eyeballs, and I totally notice that. But Animal Crossing I've been playing at night because it's so zen. God, what a beautiful little game. I feel like I finally can appreciate that damn thing. It's so chill. You don't do anything harmful. You just sort of negotiate with cranky animals, and you write them letters and stuff, and you just try to become your own little ruler of your of your land and own as much stuff as you can. But it's just so relaxing, you know. But then I fall asleep with my 3DS on my face.
I don't really game to relax. Like I game for a jolt, but then I don't. There's no like cool down game. Yeah. You know?
Well, that is one of them.
Yeah.
I want to hear what people, sort of chill out to, because I know that there are games that serve that. Sometimes the strategy games can do that a little bit. I think Kingdom Rush can do that until the difficulty ramps up. But I want to hear what people kind of relax to. You know, maybe an RPG or more of a story-driven type thing out there.
So I do too. Yeah. And let's talk about it maybe a little bit more next week. And you know what? Just a little teaser for reviews on the Run fans. We are working on something very special for you, and it's going to be airing very soon. It's going to be called Hardest Games Ever Week. Title still to be determined. But what happens on the show? We're going to be celebrating all the most challenging video games of all time. And so the way it works, we're going to bounce around from team to team. And so each team member is going to pick what they perceive to be one of their personally most challenging video games ever, and then they're going to give it to the other team member, and then they're going to swap hard games, and then they're going to, that sounded dirty.
Yeah.
Swap some hard games. Yeah. And then they're going to have a conversation about those two games and score them up, and just the larger theme of the week, and you and I will be addressing this.
Yeah.
Have games gotten easier over the years, and how has the difficulty changed, and who is gaming now, and what's expected of gamers, and play testing, and how much focus testing is done before these things are brought to market, and And, because there was a time, obviously, when games were prohibitively difficult, and it is something that I think about a lot. We're playing Hotline Miami this week on the Vita to shoot for the show, and that's a very challenging game.
I love that Sony's created this whole indie game category, and I love that Clay just announced their new game, Incognita. I mean, that sounds awesome. But they were 2 national holidays this week. What's your favorite thing about America? Happy Independence Day, by the way.
My favorite thing about America, I appreciate it more now that I don't live there.
Yeah.
And I love going back. I love going to New York or LA, or I have some friends who were just in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a couple of years in the early 90s. And my favorite thing about America, I don't know. I like the fact that
that's a broad question.
We still use Fahrenheit. I don't really get Celsius yet. People are always, it's going to be 28 this weekend. It's like, well, I don't know what that means still. My
favorite thing, I love going to the States. And my favorite thing that I've recognized over the years, it's also kind of a curse, but it's the abundance. It's the availability of choice in every conceivable direction. You walk into a store, they've got every version of everything.
America, it's easy to poke fun at it.
Yeah.
Because it is hideous and an abomination in a lot of ways, but it is also wonderful. It's a huge mix. It's a huge pile of crazy shit.
Yeah.
And there are good things in there and bad things, just like every country in the world.
Totally.
And but I do feel on day, we're doing this particular recording on July 4th, and I know that there are going to be lots of fireworks going on down there.
Yeah.
And barbecues and stuff, all the stuff that we did on Monday here on July 1st on Canada Day.
Yep.
But I do miss it. I do feel my Americanness, even though I'm almost completely Canadian.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
Well, how cool of an experience is it for both of us? Because I've spent a big chunk of my career in the States, and a lot of the great things that have happened with Greedy Productions have been due to relationships that we've had with U.S. businesses.
Yes.
And, I feel very at home in the U.S., and I feel very close to friends down there as well. And I love that there's this sort of joint celebration this week, I'm incredibly proud to be out of Canada too, and I'm incredibly, I think my favorite thing about Canada is the ease that we have with each other, and the kind of the compassion that seems to bubble up a little bit easier or more readily apparent between people in this country. Mm-hmm. Not everywhere, not always, not all the time, not with everyone, but I don't know. I feel like I took the subway here, the SkyTrain yesterday, and a guy just said, I was actually visiting Nintendo of Canada, and I took it back from Nintendo to downtown, and I saw a guy on the thing, and he said, "I love your show, man." And he was just so cool about it. He was just so chill, It was just a really sort of nice pat on the back and just a thank you, basically. And I thanked him for supporting the stuff, and it was very respectful and cordial, and I like that a lot, And I'm sure you get that same kind of thing in the States, but I don't know. It's the thing that I think of right now when I think about Canada. It's just the compassion that we care about each other.
You know what you can also thank the United States for? Your gift to cinema, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
That's right.
And Batman. You are my. By the way, you are my favorite American next to Batman.
Okay. You are my favorite Canadian next to Don Mattrick.
All right, there you go. That's all right. 2 billionaires.
Yeah. So I think we're done for the day, my friend. Let's close the basement down for another week.
All right, my bud. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week in the basement.
Do I need to say it?
Sure.
Stitcher!
And iTunes and our website and anywhere else that
we
podcasts
read all
live.
of your feedback, so be sure to rate us and give us feedback and tell your friends about us, because we're the show is growing, and you're growing with us.
Yeah. How rad is that?